the Treasury Secretary, the Commerce and Labour Secretaries. Donald Trump has already done the security, if you will. So now we're waiting for the various economic and business. And the markets have been rallying on hope for tax cuts and deregulation. If the administration does go the stiff tariffs and deportations, it could be a very different reality, simply on the grounds of taxation and needing a workforce. Rich Lesser is the global chair of Boston Consulting and is with me. Let's do first of all what we're waiting for. What is it your clients want from this administration? And having seen what's already on the cards, do you think you're going to get it?
I think right now, Richard, I have to be honest with you. This week for me has been focused on climate. I've been in Baku. I think you know, I just arrived in London coming out of there. There's a lot of focus right now on what we need to do to advance that agenda, having nothing to do with this election. The world has been behind on the pace of emissions reductions that we need. There's a lot of challenges ahead, including political challenges in multiple places around the world. And that's really been where my attention's been focused over the last week.
All right, let's play that through. In a sense, you tell me, Rich, what if the US becomes disengaged? And please, sir, I know from people who were at COP this year that the talking point was what happens with a disengaged US in a year that has been the hottest on record, where the 2.5 and 1.5 has all been breached. So without an engaged US at COP30, what happens?
I think we're already on a path to be probably 2.5 to 3 degrees if we don't change the curve substantially. If major countries around the world aren't stepping up, that includes the US, then it's just going to get that much harder to make progress. Frankly, there's also a massive opportunity for businesses around the world as this transition happens. We're spending about $2 trillion a year right now. The world needs to spend about $4 trillion a year. That represents millions of jobs, huge amounts of investment, and being competitive will affect many, many countries, including the US. It's a big opportunity.
That's the point. It's a big opportunity. And is there a danger the US becomes sidelined in a sense? Of course, that's slightly hyperbolic of me because it's such a large economy. But when you end up with the Gulf sovereign wealth funds and you've got China leading away as far as it can and will, Silk Road, Belt and Road, etc., Russia with energy, I wonder, is there room for optimism that we can meet COP goals?
I think it's getting more and more unlikely, harder and harder, that we're going to hit 1.5 degrees. I thought it was a hard lift even a few years ago, and that's clear. But the truth is, Richard, every tenth of a degree matters. So 1.7 is better than 1.8 and 2.2 is better than 2.3. So to me, this isn't a case of we're either going to hit a goal or we're not going to hit a goal. We're going to do everything we can to try to get better. And a country like the US, which should be a leader in the technologies that are going to be critical, has a really big role to play in that. And it also feeds, I think, a narrative from the president-elect about wanting the US to be the most competitive country in the world, to bring jobs here, to bring opportunities here, to make the US truly competitive. And climate tech's going to be a big part of total global investments in the years to come.
Let's talk about climate financing. I do love talking about it, even though it's one of the driest subjects that we could talk about. If for no other reason...
Well, you're one of the few.
Well, I'll tell you why, because over the years I've been, been in business journalism, and I know it's really where it really is all about the bogs and the drains, how you get the things done and who's going to pay for it. With the highest minded principles in the world, everything eventually comes down to how are you going to do it and who's going to pay for it. And at the moment, there are great opportunities. There are tremendous new technologies that are crying out for money. Is the investment there, do you think?
Well, in the highly developed countries, I think the investment is there. And it's really a question of these technologies continuing to come down in cost and putting the right incentives in place and continuing to refine those incentives that allow us to get the technologies themselves cheaper and cheaper. Where it gets really hard is when you get to lower and middle income countries. Their costs of capital are higher, the risks are perceived to be higher, and therefore there isn't as much capital as we need. And the challenge is not to think we can do that just with government money. It just won't happen. We need to create an environment where private capital from around the world wants to finance these projects. There was a nice announcement, I don't know if you caught it, from the multilateral development banks about finding $120 billion a year to support climate finance and crowd in other capital by the end of this decade. It's not enough, but that was actually a meaningful announcement that, I'm sure with all the other news may have gotten missed here.
Oh, I'm afraid it did. I might be interested in executions, but sometimes even multilaterals, development organisations don't get my attention. Thank you, sir. I'm grateful. Have a good weekend. And you're in London. Of course,
you too, Richard.
Of course, you'll have a good weekend. Plenty of things there. Go and see a show. Have a good meal. Thank you, sir.